Hi, I'm Callie and welcome to Kapowski Reads, and I am craving some chaos in books. Chaos in books, not in life, never in life, always in fiction. I have got 3 of what I am hoping are my most chaotic reads that I am planning to read and talk about during this vlog. I will tell you the books. I'm planning to read Ritual by Chloe Elizabeth Wilson. As a side note, which is not relevant to anything, I went through a saga to get this book. It doesn't appear to, or at the time when I bought it, it didn't appear to be available anywhere outside of Australia. I couldn't find any electronic copies, any audiobooks. I ended up getting this shipped over from Australia, and I paid hardback money for a paperback. It is a nice floppy paperback, but still I'm hoping it's worth the hardback price. I'm also going to be reading The Glow by Jessie Gaynor, as well as an audiobook by Hannah Beer, which is called I Make My Own Fun. This book, Ritual, is about a woman who starts working in a beauty company, and things get a little bit, do we want to say culty? A little bit weird. Things get weird. The Glow, same vibe really. Except instead of a beauty brand, we have a sort of wellness retreat. So I'm expecting, again, culty vibes. And I Make My Own Fun is about a very beloved actor who, well, she gets really obsessed with a woman who does not reciprocate her feelings, and things get wild. So I hope. I'm really excited to read all of these. I have been wanting just a good, fun, chaotic read, and I am hoping that I'm going to get it from one of my 3 books. Something has to deliver. Anyway, I'm going to go off and read. I'm going to start reading these, and I will come back when I have some progress and I can tell you something. Yeah, that's the plan. I have a book update and another update. Other update first. I went to the other Pilates class. My friend and I were talking about Pilates, and she thought I was going to the place she goes to. And I was like, no, I'm going to a different place. And then she recommended the place she goes to, which is the House Reformer. And I went there and it was lovely. And the instructor, again, every instructor I've met so far has been a delight. So I really like this class. I actually got a bit lost and I was in the car park trying to find it because the mat entrance is different to the reformer entrance. And a lady came out of her car and just yelled, "Sculpt!" at me, because that was the name of the class. And I was like, yes. Like, she just took me to the class. I had like an escort. It was lovely. And because it's been so, when will this heat wave end? I got myself a smoothie and I went for a little walk in the park in Union Terrace Gardens, which are gorgeous. Gorgeous park just off the main street in Aberdeen. So pretty. And I just had a little bit of chill time before coming home. And then I came home and I finished my book. I finished Ritual and I loved this book. 5 stars. This book focuses on Marnie, who has started working at Rytual, which is a beauty brand and totally not a cult. Totally not a cult. But there's culty vibes. Marnie starts to learn a little bit more about the company and has the opportunity to sort of choose between right and wrong and chooses chaos, and I love that for her. This book is super new, so I'm not going to give any spoilers, but we get to learn about the inner workings of Ritual, where everybody looks up to Luna, who is this effervescent character. Like, she's glowing, she's beautiful, she's accomplished, she's smart, and she's driven. Like, you want to be her, or you want to be with her, or you want both. You just, who knows? This company only hires women, and it's kind of by women for women. All of the rooms in the office are named after fallen women, shall we say, women who didn't get a fair deal in life, women who were demonized for doing things that if a man did it, nobody would bat an eyelid. There is a lot of focus on community and sisterhood in the company and towards doing things for women. And that's all great till it goes too far and we get introduced to our Friday drinks. And I did not know what I was expecting from the Friday night drinks, but I wasn't expecting this. And it gets wild. From the first Friday night drink, it gets wild. It's already got a bit of a creepy vibe going through, and it just turns that up a notch. From then, Marnie is in. Marnie is so in, and Marnie's in a bit too deep. And this book is chaotic. It is dangerous. It is kind of violent times. It is dark, and it kind of holds a mirror up to the entire sort of wellness. I really wanted like a creepy beauty horror book. This wasn't beauty horror, but it was beauty thriller. And I did get what I wanted. I kind of worried at first that this was going to just be very similar to Youth Juice by E.L. Sathyew, another book I highly recommend. But it wasn't. It was very distinct, but it still had that same vibe of this company that is thriving and has that culty wellness vibe that I love. And we have a CEO who you wouldn't trust. Don't trust them because they seem creepy. They seem like a cult leader, because they are. And we have a desperate character. And when a character is desperate, they will do things that a normal, non-desperate person wouldn't do because they have nothing to lose. And Marnie has nothing to lose here. So she's, all in, waist deep. And she just goes along with things. And she does question it, but she doesn't question it enough. She just goes, yeah, sure. That's a bit weird, but okay. I love this. I absolutely adored this book. I loved the writing style. The characters were perfect. We had such a variety of characters. Their dialogue felt very authentic, which for me just really enhances a reading experience. Yeah, that's how a person would speak. And they felt almost like they could be characters in a TV program that I would just gobble up. I loved The Office. It seemed wild. Just everything going on. I loved the focus on friendship, on revenge, on what is right and what is wrong. There were a lot of grey areas, but obviously there were a lot of wrong things. I support women's wrongs and women's rights. A lot of women's wrongs in this book. And it was just fun and very entertaining. And it ends perfectly. Loved it. Highly recommend. I mean, hopefully you can get a copy easier than how I got my copy. And you probably maybe don't have to pay hardback prices for your floppy paperback. But I highly recommend this. Loved it. Next, I'm going to be reading The Glow because I'm glistening because it's so hot. I'm not wearing my watch. I don't know how hot it is, but it's really hot. So I will come back in a little bit when I've read it and let you know how I got on with it. I'm starting on a 5-star. Like, can it be better than this? I don't know, because this hit all of the markers I wanted. I have two bookish updates. I have finished The Glow, and I've also finished I Make My Own Fun, because I thought I had longer left in the audiobook than I did. I actually only had 20 minutes left, so I finished it on my commute. I was in the office. I did my usual, let's read a handful of chapters before I go to work, and then I finished my book when I came home because it was raining, and very happy about the rain, but it just kind of meant I was staying firmly indoors. So I am going to update on The Glow first because this was my least favourite of the trio, but that's not to say it wasn't a good book. This was much cultier than... I will tell you what the book's about first. Let's do that. Then I'll tell you about the culty vibes. This book focuses on our protagonist, Jane, who works in PR, not overly passionate about the specific brands that she is promoting, but she's got a lot of medical debt. She had to have an emergency appointment, an emergency operation, and that has left her with about like $90,000 of medical debt, which is unfathomable. I'm Scottish. I can't imagine that. We have our NHS and free prescriptions and things. So medical debt is not something I have any experience of, but it sounds horrific. And £90 alone, that's a lot of money. 90,000, I can't even imagine what £90,000 would look like. I'm thinking Squid Games or something like that. Is it Squid Games? No, is it Mr. Beast Games? Some game show where there was a whole big pot of money. That's what I'm thinking 90 grand would look like. Jane, in her desperation, finds a wellness retreat online, and she has decided that if she can only just get this wellness retreat as her client, her career is gonna just explode and she will be on the up. Everything will be going great for Jane. That is her thought process. So off Jane goes to this wellness retreat, and this is it. This is where the culty vibes commence, because instantly it is this rundown like farm building. People are sleeping on the floor. Like, people are paying money to sleep on the floor and not have access to their own room. It feels like they don't have a lot of indoor plumbing. The food is interesting, shall we say? But the people love it. They're there, they're having their releases, and they are glowing. Like, they are so full of health and vigor after their retreat that they have the glow. So Jane approaches the owner, Cassie, and asks her basically, can I be your PR person? And Cass, the owner, is amenable to this and agrees. And then Jane basically moves in and joins Cass, her husband Tom, and they work together at turning this wellness retreat into the sort of Instagram hotspot. But they don't really work together because Cass is not a hands-on kind of gal. Well, she kind of is, but not when it comes to the business. Cass is like a flame, and the rest of the world are moths. Everyone is drawn to Cass. There's something about her. She's not charismatic. She's not interesting to talk to, but she's got something about her that just makes you want to impress Cass. You want her to like you. You want her to compliment, what you're doing. You want to impress her. And this whole wellness retreat is kind of basically built around Cass. Everyone else is kind of her lackey. She doesn't do things. Things just seem to happen around her, and often in the way that she wants. There's not sort of an option of failure for Cass. She's very mysterious. We don't really get to know a great deal about Cass. And I kind of like that. I like this mysterious, almost cult leader kind of character. This book is not a cult, but it is culty, if that makes sense, where the people have this unquestionable loyalty towards Cass, even though as a reader you're reading things going, she going to the toilet, outside? Are they doing that, what I think they're doing, in a group outside? Yes, they are. Okay, nobody's questioning things. But there's something about Cass that just makes people do her bidding. Jane does not fall for any of this though. Jane is kind of a cynic or kind of a realist, I don't know. And Jane just works getting this business off the ground, charging huge amounts for the influencers to come and enjoy this retreat. And I really liked it. I really had a good time. The pacing was just building and building, and it was so tense because you just knew like something was going to happen. There was going to be like a kaboom or something. And that's where my sort of disappointment lay, because this book just ended. Like, it just, the end. There was no reward. We built up to just build the end. There was no like boom. So I felt a little disappointed, a little shortchanged at the end of this book, because I wanted more. I wanted a little bit more. I love the characters though. Didn't want to be friends with, maybe I'd be friends with Tom. Tom seemed nice. Tom seemed like he had a good head on his shoulders, and he didn't seem exploitative or like they could lead a cult. And that's saying a lot in this book. So I think he's the only one I'd probably want to be friends with. Jane, again, I feel desperate people do desperate things. And I don't think that anything Jane did was, I don't know, where's the morality here? I don't think Jane's a bad person. I think Jane's a desperate person. But Cass, I've got questions about Cass, and I wanted to know more about her or less about her. I feel I got enough about Cass that made me feel like there should have been a bit more about her. Even an epilogue or something. I just felt like it felt like the book was incomplete, and that's where I was kind of left. I think I gave this 4 stars. It's like a 3.5, but it was a fun time. It was creepy. It was weird. It really sort of looked into, if you are into social media and the way that that can be manipulated, then this book has that as a sort of underlying current. But it was a good time and it was a very fun read. I also finished my audiobook of I Make My Own Fun, which focuses on Miranda, who is a beloved actor. She's an English actor. My wrist just cracked. I don't even know if that would have been picked up. If it did, that was my wrist. I'm in great health, just cracky wrists. Miranda is a beloved actor. She is British. She is living in the US, but for the premiere of her film, she is off to London, where she meets Anna. Anna's working in a bar, and Miranda is smitten. Miranda falls for Anna, and Anna does not share Miranda's feelings. Miranda is an awful person. I do not say this lightly. Miranda is a horrific person. On the outside, Miranda is just this lovable, kind, thoughtful woman, and everybody loves her. But we get an internal monologue and we can see that Miranda is a horrible human being. She is vindictive. She is cruel. She is horrible to animals for fun. Like, she knows she's being awful, but she views this as entertainment. She thinks nothing of ruining somebody's life because lol, and she was awful, but you know instantly she's awful. You're not meant to like her. She has 0 redeeming qualities, so do not worry. Hate her freely, and I did. She finds herself enamored with Anna, and Anna is lukewarm at best. Anna's not really interested, but Miranda is convinced that Anna's playing it cool, being nonchalant, because it is unfathomable to her that somebody wouldn't be falling over themselves to be with her. And there begins our tale of unhinged obsession, because Miranda, she takes things too far. Miranda then goes on, I feel like, I don't even think it could be described as like a love bombing expedition, because I don't know if this would count. She does like massive over the top grand gestures. Like, we are talking a lorry full of peonies. We are talking a blimp. A blimp. There's barely any blimps anywhere. She basically stalks Anna to find out more about her, because she's like, we're in love. They're not in love. And Miranda is basically living in London, trying to woo Anna into reciprocating her feelings by just constantly being wherever Anna's going to be, or doing these grand gestures. And Anna's response is always, at best, lukewarm. There are the occasional like texts here and there, but Anna's response is very much in that, yeah, cool. In a contrast to The Glow, this book was also building and building and building, but the last 20 minutes of this book were absolutely chaotic. They were wild. I could not have guessed what was going to happen. And I kind of like that I had the opportunity to just sit. I was on a bus, sit, headphones in, because headphones are important. If you're listening to things on buses, do not play it out loud. It's really annoying. So I, like a good citizen, had my headphones on, and I just had 20 minutes left. I had like a 22-minute bus journey. I made it work. And I fairly certain I was audibly gasping on my bus journey, because every single thing that kept happening was just wilder and wilder and wilder than the action before. I loved this book. This is another 5-star book for me. I loved the character of Miranda. I love that we know immediately, hey, you're gonna hate her. You're meant to hate her. She has no redeeming qualities. She will have no redeeming qualities. Like, she's not going to do anything to make you feel, oh, she's human, or oh, she just wants to be loved. Like, no, she wants to be in control of things. She wants to use people as her playthings, and when she's bored, she wants to destroy them. She's not a good person, but she is a very entertaining character, and that's what I wanted. I liked Anna as a character. She felt like a normal person that you would just know. She felt very realistic. They are kind of our two main characters, but the majority of the book is from Miranda's POV or from blogs, because there are some forums, Miranda's beloved, remember? And there are some forums that are sort of gossiping about Miranda and her life, and, you know, is everything peachy, or is she getting a bit worried because somebody implied she was getting old because she's gonna be 30. I'm 39, and I was like, sometimes I do feel old. But I know I'm not in the grand scheme of things. But this was just a fun, wild ride of a book. And if you want something light, it's pretty short. I finished this book in like maybe, I don't know, 3 hours or so. I really liked it. Highly recommend it. It was just wild. I wanted chaos, and I really feel I got my chaos from my 3 books. So these 2, and I make my own fun. I had 2 5-star reads, 1 3.5. It's fine. A 5-star sandwich, I will take that. I would love to know if you have read any of these books, or if you have any chaotic book recommendations. Let me know in the comments, because I love me some chaos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!